choose the file path and hit the Start button to begin the conversion process. VLC includes the feature to stream videos inside the program. This can be useful for a variety of reasons. But if you want to download a video using this process, then stick around, and we'll explain that on the next tip. Also note, this doesn't work with every website. Click the Media, then choose Open Network Stream option. Inside the Network Protocol input, paste the URL of the video that you would like to stream. Click the Play button to stream video in the VLC media player. Here's how to download videos in the VLC media player, as we previously announced. Follow the steps for streaming videos first, then continue with this step to download that video. You are currently streaming a video. Click the Tools, and then choose Codec Information to proceed with downloading this video. Copy the URL from the location box, then paste that URL into the address bar of your browser and hit Enter on your keyboard. At any point during the video after it plays, right-click the video and select Save Video As. Select the preferred location and download the video to your computer. Not everyone knows that there's audio and screen recording features in VLC Player. Click the View menu button and select Advanced Controls from the newly opened drop-down menu. You'll notice a few new options that appear on the lower left of the program. Then go to Media menu, and in the Capture Device section, set the audio and video devices to record from. Use the Record button to start and stop the recording. If you ever need to record your entire desktop, VLC offers a built-in screen recorder. Let's show you how that works. To record your screen, click the Media Setting option, then choose Open Capture Device. Next, change the capture method to desktop. The next setting you'll want to change is the drop-down currently shown as Play. Select the drop-down and change that to the Convert option. That will let you select the output folder for your recorded file. Click the Browse button to choose a file export location. Don't forget to name your file, and click Save when you're done. Click Start after that, and your recording will begin. When you're finished with your screen recording, open the VLC tab again, and click the Stop button to stop recording. The steps for recording your webcam are very similar. Let's go through them quickly. Go to Media, and then open Capture Device. Make sure the Direct Show option is selected in the Capture Mode section. In the video device name, choose your preferred camera. In the audio device name, select your microphone. Click the drop-down arrow, currently shown as Play, and choose the Convert option. Next, select your video profile. That's the Format option. Browse button is for choosing your file location. Finally, click Start to start the recording. And just like before, click the Stop button to stop it. VLC includes a very handy bookmark option, providing you timestamps for sections of a media file that you can easily mark and come back to later. Here's how it works. First, with a video open, click the Playback menu option. Hover over the Custom Bookmarks option, then click Manage. In the new window, click Create when you're at the section you wish to bookmark. You can create as many bookmarks as you like and access them later. You can easily add your watermark to a video in VLC Media Player. Go to Tools menu, then choose Effects and Filters. Proceed to the Video Effects tab. Then open the Overlay tab. You have two options here. You can add your Add Logo or Add Text. To add watermark, enable the Add a Logo option. Click the three-dot browse icon and search for the image you wish to overlay. The default location of the watermark is in the upper left-hand corner. You can move the watermark to a different location using the top and left up and down arrows. Alternatively, you can enter the exact pixel location if you already know the desired position. Next, you can adjust the opacity using the opacity slider. Enable the Add Text option to type in your text to be used as a watermark. When you're finished, click Save. VLC includes several video and audio effects that you can apply to your media files. Let's look at some of those options. Go to Tools and then to Effects and Filters. In the Audio Effects tab, you have access to an equalizer, compressor, spatializer, stereo widener, and an advanced tab. If you're looking to enhance or change the way your project sounds, VLC offers several audio altering features. Adjust and play with the settings until your audio sounds perfect. Next, let's look at the Video Effects tab. There are several video effects you can experiment with, like motion blur, film grain, brightness, contrast, colors, overlay, and many more. We encourage you to adjust these settings as needed if you're looking to adjust your video effects. Here's how to trim videos in VLC Player. Although there are multiple ways to trim clips with VLC, the easiest option is through the Convert Save tool. Start by heading to Media, then select Convert/Save. Click Add and open the video you want to trim. Check the box at the bottom that says Show More Options. Set the start and end time for your new clip. This is the segment that will be kept in your new file. Click the Convert/Save to proceed. Choose a profile or create a new one. Click Browse, choose a name and location for your new clip. Press the Start button and your new trimmed video will be exported. VLC offers a cool feature in which you can play internet radio stations and subscribe to various podcasts. Go to View menu and select Playlist option. The program's interface will now change. To add a podcast, check the Internet section, click the plus icon to the right of Podcast, then enter the RSS feed URL in the box provided. Then click OK. The podcast will appear in the menu on the left. Click the podcast you just added, and on the right, you will see a list of the episodes now available. Below the podcast section, there are a couple of directories with stations to choose from. Double-click on the station to listen. Here's how you can take a screenshot from videos in VLC. Right-click inside any video open with VLC Media Player. Hover over the video option and click Take Snapshot. There's also a keyboard shortcut on Windows. It's Shift+S. On Mac, it's Command-Alt-S. As easy as it sounds. If a video you have doesn't come with subtitles, you can add your own by finding an SRT subtitle file for the video and adding it in. To add the subtitle, play your video and go to Subtitle in the menu bar and click Add Subtitle File. If you want VLC to play it automatically, place the SRT file in the same folder as the video and make sure it uses the same file name as the video file. You can use VLC to rip DVDs too. It's a simple way to create an archive of your DVDs for backup purposes, or a way to view them when you do not have access to the physical disc. Go to the Media option, then choose Convert/Save. Proceed to the Disk tab. From here, click the radio button of the media disk you're using and check No Disk menu. Make sure the selected disk device is correct, and click Convert/Save right after. There is an option available to use a web browser as a simple remote control for VLC. This is incredibly useful when running VLC on a Media Center PC, as you can control it using a laptop or your mobile phone. To enable this feature, go to Tools, then choose Preferences. Check the All box under Show Settings. Head over to Interface Chapter. Open the Main Interface section and tick the Web checkbox. Then proceed to the Lua section of the menu that is right under the Main Interfaces chapter, and set your password to protect the session. Remote control through the browser should now be enabled. To test this, on your browser with VLC installed, go to localhost:8080. It will ask for the password, and once given, it should display a remote control interface for VLC. To use this on another device, you will need to find the IP address of your device's browser. Add the address to your device's browser with :8080 appended to it. Your device is now a simple VLC remote. Last but not least, if you have a zip or RAR file that contains a media file, you can actually play them within VLC without extracting them prior. Simply open them with VLC. No file archiver needed. If the file is broken up into pieces, just open the first part of the archive in VLC, making sure all the files are within the same place. This is a good tip when you don't want to waste space decompressing the video. That's another tutorial full of great tips, this time on VLC Media Player. Now, all you newly made VLC Media Player pros out there, feel free to give this video a thumbs up, especially if you want to see more value-packed content like this in the future. Thanks for watching.
Contenu que mora ku contenu ko nunca tim vado kudo nunca me vare nyare down ko mila contenu ko ono on to ma ba ko no
Winterwind back has officially landed. For 60 days straight, one lucky traveler every day will win the value of their flight back. Simply book flights in June or July for travel anytime and stand to win the value of your airfare back as a flight airfare voucher. Don't just chase the wind this winter. Book a flight that and you could be getting your bucks back soon. Excludes taxes and fuel surcharges. Flights airfare for the love of flying. Season
Hi there, my name is Dan Scott and I'm an Adobe Certified Instructor for Illustrator here at Envato. And together, you and me are going to learn the basics of Adobe Illustrator. Now this course is for beginners. There is no need to have any previous knowledge in Adobe Illustrator or design or drawing or illustration. Okay, we're going to start right at the beginning and work our way through step by step. During this course, we're going to work through practical real-world projects together, learning the tips and techniques necessary to make each of those projects happen. We'll start with the techniques that you'll need to create just about anything in Illustrator, including custom shapes, the wonderful shape builder, and the simple to use curvature tool. We'll explore lines and brushes. You'll master how to use and manipulate type. We'll use our new type skills to make our print fly. We'll work through how to create your own custom logos and icons. I'll show you the sneaky secrets Illustrator has to discover and use beautiful colors and gradients. You'll learn how to push, pull, cut, and manipulate artwork like this. We'll take our drawings and make repeatable like this, and I'll easily show you how to redraw these images in this vector style. Last but not least, we'll make sure that you can save and export your print and web documents like that. Also, throughout the course, I set lots of class exercises so that you can practice all the tips and tricks and techniques you're learning as you move through the course. So if you've never opened up Illustrator, or you have and you struggled a little bit with it, follow me and I will show you how to make beautiful artwork in Adobe Illustrator. All right, to get started, what you need to do is you need to download the exercise file. So there'll be a link on this page for source file. So look for the source file. In there is everything that we work on together during the course. Plus, it has all of the things that I set for you as class examples. So at the end of a lot of videos, I say, I kind of set some not homework, fun things to practice the skills you're learning. When you finish those practice lessons, I'd love to see them. So there's a couple of ways of sharing them. The one is in the forum here on Envato Plus. So if you go to the forum and search for Adobe Illustrator for beginners, okay, and you'll be able to post your exercises in there. The other thing you can do is so post your examples on Twitter. We are Tuts Plus Design, and also personally I am Dan Loves Adobe. Tag both of us. On Instagram, it's bring your own laptop. Okay, so yeah, share what you've done, share with the world, make sure you tag us so we can comment and look at it as well. The other thing to do is, the next thing we need to do is we need to go through, just get our computers all and say it's yours, looks like mine. We're going to reset the workspace and work on, make sure we've got the right units and increments and that stuff. To get started. So let's jump into the computer now and sort that out. First up, let's open up a file so that we can get our workspace similar to your version of Illustrator. It looks the same as mine. Because the trouble sometimes with this first start screen here is it can be different for everybody. So let's go to File and let's go to Open. Now what you want to do is you want to find the exercise files you've downloaded. Here they're here, exercise files, Illustrator. And in here, I want you to find a file called Getting It Started. And then click the Open. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is we need to reset our workspace, just so that we're all looking the same. And we can do it along the top here. There's this little app bar, okay? And yours might say something different in here, but drop this down, and what you want to do is you want to click on Essentials. You want to see if there's a tick next to it. So click on it. And the second thing you want to do is come down to the exact same menu and go to Reset Essentials. And that'll just put it back to kind of a default setting. Now, if yours still looks different, it might be that you're using an earlier version of Illustrator. And what that's going to mean for you is that you can continue along with this course. Say 90% of the course is going to be still fine for you. What you're going to have a little bit of trouble with is finding out where some of these menus are because they've moved around just a tiny bit. What I mean by that, if I grab my type tool and I click and I start typing, you can see over here it automatically says, here's my character panel and there's my font and font sizes. This properties panel did not exist in earlier versions of Illustrator. Super handy, I love it. But in earlier versions, what you're going to have to do is when I'm looking at this character panel or things in this appearance, what you're going to have to do is go up to Window and open them separately. This is how all the versions worked. If I go down to Type, there's character. Okay, so it's the same panel. Can you see? He matches him, but he's just in a separate window. So that's going to be a fun game if you're using, say, CS6 or CS5. But don't worry, you can continue on with most of this course. So just make sure you've set to Essentials and that you've reset. Next thing, let's look at the units and increments. Let's change the units you're using. What you need to do is have nothing selected. The best way to have nothing selected is grab your black arrow, the selection tool here, just click off in this gray area here, just so that nothing is selected. Watch when I select on something, this properties panel changes, but when I click on the background here into kind of like no man's land, it gives me general overall settings for the document. In this case, it's currently set to centimeters. Okay, I'm going to change mine and work in inches in this course. But let's say we're working, say, with some web or UI design work in Illustrator. You can click on pixels. It doesn't really matter, but this is the place to change it. It's in a slightly different place than, say, a lot of the other Adobe products like Photoshop or InDesign, where it's kind of done in the preferences. So that's just something to note here. So I'm going to pick inches. One last thing we'll do before we move on to start making things is just some basic navigation. We'll cover a lot more during the course, but zooming in and out and moving around is quite important. So there is a long way. You can use this. See this little magnifying glass here? The zoom tool. Click on that and you click once, click twice, and it just keeps zooming in. To zoom out, you can hold down the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a PC. So to look down your keyboard, if you're using a Mac, it's the Option key. If you're a PC, it's the Alt key. You can see the little icon changes from a plus to a minus, and then I just click again with my left mouse button, and it zooms out. So that's the long way. what you'll find is I'm not going to cover too many shortcuts. The one everyone uses to zoom in and out is on a Mac, hold down your Command key and tap plus. If you're on a PC, hold down the Control key and tap plus. Okay, so plus is just up and your numbers kind of along the top of your keyboard. There's a plus and minus. Minus zooms out, plus zooms in. One last little bit of navigation is to move around. Say I want to see kind of down a bit further. See these little sliders on the side here? Okay, it'll look a little different on a PC, but there'll be a little kind of a slider bar that you can go up and down. Same down the bottom here, you can go left and right. Okay, that is the long, painful way. That is fine when you're new, you can do that way. But let's do one last little shortcut is, if you hold down the space bar, can you see at the moment I'm on my selection tool? Okay, but if I hold space bar, look at the icon that changes, it becomes a little hand. Okay, so space bar down becomes a little hand, and that just means click, hold, and drag. Okay, so space bar down, clicking the mouse, and just dragging it around. Alright, that's it for the boring navigation stuff in Illustrator. I will remind you of those shortcuts throughout the course, so don't worry. But now, boring stuff over, let's get into the super exciting world of creating things in Illustrator using shapes and lines. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Hi there, in this video we are going to edit out our documents so that we can start redrawing this cute little sheriff penguin using all our shapes. So we're going to create a new document, show you how to bring in and use layers to lock this pencil drawing in the background so that we can redraw over the top of it. Alright, let's get started. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new document to draw our penguin on. Let's go to File, let's go to New. Now in here we've got a bunch of presets. Okay, along the top here you've got, like if you want to design a mobile phone, a website, we're going to start with print. Okay, and in here we're going to pick letter, and along here we're going to change our units to inches. We're going to make it landscape, and what you'll find is yours is probably twirled up down the bottom here. See where it says advanced options? Click on that word, and this little extra option opens up. Okay, and we'll change our color mode to large. And we're not going to cover the full differences between RGB and ZK, but just so you know, if you're new, RGB gives you a bigger color palette, okay, more richer colors. CMYK is a little bit more washed out. But if you're going to eventually become a commercial illustrator or commercial designer using Illustrator, you probably need to research a little bit more the differences between the two. But the short version is just use RGB. Even if you're going to commercial print, printers have some amazing software to convert it to RGB, which they need, and often it can give you a better result. So RGB, perfect for pretty much all circumstances these days. Let's click Create. Alright, next thing we're going to do is save our document. So next up, let's go to File and let's save our document. And what I want to do is, now if you're on a Mac, like I am, okay, you might have to click this little arrow to see a few more of the options here. Okay, if you're on a PC, things are very similar, but a little different. Okay. Now, depending on your ability, you might just save up to your desktop and just leave it like that. What I'm going to do is be very organized and click on New Folder, and I'm going to put it into here called Class Files. Okay, I'm going to put a folder on my desktop called Class Files. I'm going to call this one my Penguin. I'm not even sure if that looks good enough for me. So if you're on a PC, it's slightly different. I think there's just an icon along the top here that says like new folder, hover above them. Create a new folder called Class Files, name our document Penguin, and let's click Save. Okay, these Illustrator options, just leave them all by default. Okay. So, to get started, what we've got is I've hand-drawn our penguin, and we're going to redraw over the top of it. It's a really common way that I work and a lot of illustrators work, is that it's easier to draw on my notebook, take a photo of it or a scan, and actually just draw over the top of it in Illustrator. It's not how everyone works. You can go straight into Illustrator, but it's going to give us at least a template to draw over the top of, just to make it a bit easier for us now. So to make that happen, let's go to File, and let's go to Place. Place is the word, it's interchangeable with import. Illustrator likes to call it place though. So File, Place, bring in our image. Let's find the exercise files that you've downloaded, and in there should be one called penguin.jpg. Now before you click Place, what we're going to do is click on this word Template. I'll show you what it does. Let's make sure Template is clicked. Let's click Place. And what ends up happening is, with my black arrow, if I click off in the background, can you see I can't move this image. So what it does is it brings it in, it puts it on its own layer, it locks that layer and dims trims it down a little bit so it's easier to draw over the top of. Now mine's put it in the middle of this document. Yours is probably off to the side here a little bit. So let's look at kind of unlocking it and moving it around. So up here in your layers panel, layer 1 is where we're going to do our drawing. This layer here called template, you can kind of see template penguin. What it's done is it's created a layer and it's locked it. Okay, so it means I can't move it around, which is super handy. But if I want to move it over a little bit, let's click on the locking icon. Click on this now. Now, black arrow, just click on it, drag in the center anywhere. Okay, now it's unlocked. So hopefully you can see the benefits of using the template. I can lock it again now. Go back to my layer 1. Okay, make sure it is highlighted and I can do my drawing in that layer. And this helpful little layer is just underneath, dimmed down a little bit. The opacity is down a little bit. And it's locked, making it easy to draw. Alright, so that's it for setting up our document, just getting it ready for drawing over the top of. What we'll do in the next video is that we'll start drawing with our shapes, okay, lines and rectangles to make our cute little penguin that for some unknown reason is a sheriff, mainly because I needed to show you how to draw stuff. But let's do that in the next video.
Non, attends.
You didn't hear it from us. You heard it from the
They uploaded my documents and received SMS same day. The next day, money was in my account.
Apply online and see why more than 10,000 customers gave us a 4.7 Google rating. That's smart.
Je vais te dire une chose. Une question pour toi. Avec ta grande communauté que tu prétends avoir là.
J'ai jamais dit ça. Je ne prête pas des mots.
C'est là. Là, avec ma petite communauté.
Hi there, in this video we are going to redraw this pencil penguin over the top using shapes and lines using Illustrator, turn them off, and a short little squat penguin. But look at that he is. Alright, let's get started. Alright, to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our rectangle tool over here in my toolbar. If you can't see the rectangle tool, it might be that if you click and hold this kind of where this option might be, it might be set to something like the ellipse tool. And to change it back to the rectangle tool, all you do is click, hold until these options appear. And just click on the rectangle tool. Also to get started, just make sure you're on your layers panel and make sure you're on layer 1. In your properties panel, I want to make sure we're going to change our fill and stroke. The fill is the center color of our rectangle and the stroke is the line. So what you do is you click on this first little icon, doesn't matter what color it is currently, pick a random color, okay, and because we're going to change it in a second, that's what you do to get back. You can click back on this icon to close it back up, and then the stroke, click on this, make sure it's set up below. Then click, you don't actually have to click back on this, you can just click right where it closes back down. And I want to make sure that the stroke is set to 1 point. Okay, just a nice thin line that goes around the outside. So let's draw a random rectangle, don't worry if it doesn't kind of line up, we're going to use it for the body of our penguin. So you can see the fill is the center color and the stroke is the line on the outside. What you might see is kind of like faint line or thin line depending on your computer. What it means is it just means it's got selected. So if we go about black arrow, this is your kind of like safety. Always go back to your black arrow if you're not too sure what to do. You've got all these selected, just go back to the black arrow. It's the one you're going to use the most. And what you can do is click in the background here. I've clicked once and deselected a rectangle. You can see the stroke on the outside a lot clearer. So it just goes blue. So what I'd like to do is I like to keep the black line but not the fill. To do it, you have to have it selected. So black arrow, click it in the middle anywhere. And over here, click on fill, and to have none, see this little red line here? If you hover above it, it tells you, but that means I want nothing in there, please. And I'm just going to click in the background, close that little fill panel. Great, so I've got a line around the outside, but no fill. And what you'll notice is it's a little bit different to select. So I click in the background now. What happens is if I try and click the center, you can see it just doesn't work like it did when it was filled with green, because there is no center now. So if I want to select this rectangle now, I've got to click the edge once. So black arrow, click the edge and it should be selected. Now what I'd like to do is using these white squares, okay, I just want you to resize it, okay, so that it kind of matches the edges. Alright, not very exciting. Let's get into this slightly more exciting. start looking at it. Black arrow, make sure the edge of it's selected. You see these little targets in the corners. These are little corners. And all they do is click, hold, and drag it with your mouse. Just drag it towards the center of the rectangle. So it's making all the corners nice. Okay, so that's kind of what I want. It's got the top but not the bottom. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this thing called edit. We're going to use undo. It just goes back one step. Okay, undo, okay, and then keeps going back. You can keep hitting undo right back to the beginning. Now I'm going to use the shortcuts throughout this course because it's a really common thing to do. Go to undo. And on my Mac, it's Command Z. On a PC, it should be Control Z. Okay, or you can just go to that long way. It's fine. What I'd like to do is I would like to have just one of the corners selected. So look at this little icon here. Take note of the color. If I click it once, you can see it's kind of changed. It's inverted. So it's kind of selected when the other ones are not. What I mean by that is if you click and drag that one now, okay, if you click it once and then click and drag it, you can see it just affects that one. I can do the same here, click him once, goes to the alternate color, now I click and drag him, okay, I can kind of just work with these individual corners. Now my radius is a little bit different on both sides, so what I'd like to do is go to edit, undo again, back to being a square, and I'm going to show you both. So you click the first one, like we did before, just click it once with the black arrow. If you hold your shift key down on your keyboard, shift key is going to play a pretty big part in Illustrator. Okay, so hold down shift, click on the second one, it means that I can select more than one at a time. So these guys at the bottom aren't selected, these guys at the top. If I grab one of them, click, hold, drag it, they both come off to the right. Now I know they match. Last minute change to my design, I'm going to click the bottom one once, pick it up, I'm going to have like a little exactly. So we learned what fill and stroke is. Strokes around the outside, fills in the middle. We're going to put these corner options. Let's start building some other parts. Let's draw the circle for his going to lie there. Click hold, keep holding down your mouse angrily, and then release on ellipse tool. So with the ellipse tool, what we're going to do is click and drag over here. And what you'll notice is I can click and drag any sort of size. So that's fine. I don't have any sort of weird size. I'm going to undo a few times. What I'd like to do is I want it to be a perfect circle. Okay, that shift is a really kind of usable tool. So when I start dragging out, if I hold down the shift key while I'm doing it, you can see it locks the height and width. And that's true of rectangles or stars, polygons, circles. Okay, so I'm going to get it to roughly the right size. I'm going to grab my black arrow. I'm going to click either the edge or, if you can see this dot here, grab the dot. Okay, little center. If you've got it the wrong size, okay, say it's just still too big, you try to line it up and you're like, it's kind of close. Okay, what you can do is you can resize it. Just like we did before, is that I can grab any of these little guys in the corner. The trouble with resizing it this way is you can see I'm kind of distorting the shape. So what I want to do is, before I do it, I've undone a couple of times, is if I hold the shift key, grab any of the corners, doesn't matter what corner it is, okay, it will lock the height and width, like we did when we created this. Okay, so holding shift just kind of locks the height and width until I get to a rough size. Now my circle's not perfect, okay, so don't worry too much about it. Another thing you can do here is if you're finding that you're trying to line it up and it's like jumping all around, okay, get it close to where you want it. And then with your keyboard, so I've got my black arrow, look down at your keyboard, you've got your up, down, left, right, your cursors. Okay, so I'm just using my cursor arrow key just to kind of tap it around a little bit. Okay, a little bit left, a little bit up. That often can be a nicer way to just kind of do fine cursors. Alright, let's do this little upside down curve. It makes them the happy, content penguin. What do you think, Pingu? Anyway, he's my inspiration. So what we're going to do is I can draw a curve. There's lots of ways of doing curves. There's a really easy way though, is if you click and hold down. So hold down the line segment tool. Okay, with the arc tool, just draw it anywhere out here. It doesn't really matter too much which way it goes, because you can rotate it. So do it so it's kind of curvish. And what I'd like to do is go back to my black arrow. Remember, this is our default go back to it tool. And it does so many things. We use it to resize the circle a second ago. We can also use it to rotate. Now, what we need to do is we need to zoom in a little bit. So who remembers what the shortcut was? You remember, right? It's Command plus Mac or Control plus on PC. So just zoom in a little bit. I'm going to show you why in a second. To rotate this thing, you need to be in a kind of a special zone. So when we were resizing it before, maybe we held Shift and we dragged this up and down to make it kind of bigger and smaller. The rotation's very close. So clicking on the corner and dragging, resize. Watch this. If I move my cursor just a bit further out, you'll just kind of like, too close? Nope. Perfect.
Not so much.
This is kind of like every corner has this kind of like rotation zone in it. You'll wiggle your mouse around and hopefully find it. Looking for that kind of bent arrow. If you click, hold, and drag there, click, hold, drag your mouse, it'll start moving. Okay, and just kind of find it again, drag it around until it's kind of a curve that you could use for an eye. Now I want to move down a little bit. I could use these little sliders. That's fine. What's the shortcut? You remember, spacebar, click, hold, and drag. Okay, and just move it down. And mine's way too big, so I'm holding Shift. Kind of rotating it around a bit. Don't worry if it's not the right perfect curve. We're gonna show you different ways of doing it in a second, but drag it in the corner. Use my arrow keys just to line it up perfectly. So to draw a nice, good-looking curve, you can use the arc tool. You can rotate it by that little special area, kind of just outside the scaling part. Just out a bit further, that's rotation. Next thing we'll look at is we'll look at the stroke. This stroke, if I click off in the background, it's pretty thin. I want it to kind of be nicely thick in the inside here, because it's a bit more of a design feature. So I'm going to select it once with my black arrow. And over here, okay, where it says stroke, I'm going to use this little up arrow. You can drop this down and pick one, or you can just use the up arrow just to click and pick a size. I'm going to pick 4 points. For no good reason, just looks thick enough. Finally, I click off in the background, and I've got this kind of like rainbow kind of shape thing. What I'd like it to do is I'm going to eventually round all these corners, just the theme I'm going for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little trick. You click on the stroke here. We're going to look at what's called capping. Capping is the end here. This is a straight line. I would like it to be like a little bulbous end. Okay, so over here, our stroke, we don't have many options, right? We have color and we have the size of the bar. Click on the word stroke. Ta-da! And so what we're going to do in this case is it's called the capping. The unfortunately named butt cap, and then there's the second one, the round cap. Click on that. You'll keep a straight face, right? Okay. The second one, round cap, is kind of what we want, right? It's kind of this nice, more gentle blend on it. Okay, this one here, the last one, I don't use projecting cap. Kind of just the butt cap versus projecting cap. You can kind of see what it does. Put the like a square around the that can really help you later on when you're working with Illustrator and you've got some really like ugly edges or ends of strokes. Just switching it around nicely. We'll look at stroke a little bit more in another video, but that's it for now. Let's click off in the background, click off. Happy smiley, content penguin. All right, next up we'll do some triangles. So I want to do the beak. I want to do the flipper. And it's tail. So they're all kind of triangles with rounded edges. So to do a triangle is you hold down the ellipse tool or the rectangle tool and you're going to move to this one called the polygon tool. So a triangle is essentially a polygon. By default, you're going to get a pentagon. So I'm going to delete it using my delete key on my keyboard. What I want to do is just click once instead of dragging out, and it gives you the polygon options. So I've got the polygon tool selected, and I just click once on my screen. It gives you some options before you start drawing. And I'm going to pick 3 sides, please. I'm not going to worry about the radius for the moment. I'm going to resize it once. So 3 sides, click OK, and I get this kind of giant triangle. So first up, let's resize it and rotate it. So I'm going to use my black arrow, make sure it's selected by clicking the edge of it. I'm going to make sure it has no fill, make sure it has a black stroke, and I'm not too worried about the size of it. So to resize it and rotate it, resizing, remember it's just grabbing this corner bit here and just getting it down to a size. Rotating it is that magical area around the outside. Now what you might want to do is, at the moment when you're rotating, it just kind of goes around in random degrees. If you hold Shift, that magical tool, okay, hold down the Shift key on the keyboard and you start rotating. You can see it does it 45 degrees. You might want your nose to be Clicking either the center or the edge, move it around, get it into position, resize it, rotate it around so you've got it doesn't have to be the same as my nose. I wanted mine to be flat on the bottom. I'm going to try and rotate it using the medieval rotation. Make sure it's big enough. Get it to overlap quite a bit in the back here. Okay, I'll show you why in a second. Arrow keys, just tab it down. Drag it so it overlaps a bit more. Why? Because I want to change the kind of a roundness on the end. Okay, so I'm going to grab this little corner option, the little target there, and drag it in. Maybe make it a bit bigger. Corner in. You can see it down into all sides. You could do our secret trick, remember, where you click on it once and just do it individually, but it's a little bit easier just to hide these in here. We're going to make both the nose black and his little body black. So I want to reuse this. I'm going to have it selected. Okay, with my black arrow, I'm going to edit, copy, edit, paste. Okay, and I'm going to put this down here. Messing about. That looks like a good flip to me. Copy and paste it again. I am going to rotate it around. I just use Command C and Command V on Mac. You can use Control C and Control V on PC. There we go. Now you'll notice I'm trying to line it up down the bottom here. It does some clever stuff where it tries to like automatically line up. If yours is not doing that, it's called Smart Guides. View, and you can see my Smart Guides is turned on. Okay, it just means it tries to line things up automatically. That's super handy. It can also be a bit of a pain as well. So you can go to view and untick it if you're not liking all that jumping around lining up stuff. Some people don't. Alright, the last thing I'm going to do is this body. Should have done it earlier. Okay, when we had the rectangle tool, I'm going to grab the rectangle tool. I'm going to hover. You can kind of see it says path. It just means I'm going to start bang on the edge of his body here. It's really handy. It's one of those smart guides. Okay, I'm going to say click, hold, and drag. Get my rectangle. Don't worry too much about the stroke around the outside. Remember, black arrow. I'm going to grab this guy once, drag him down to match. And same with this one. I'm going to click him and drag him up to match my. That's probably why it didn't do the little belly earlier on, just adding more kind of things that could go wrong for us. So I'm going to try and line it up. Actually, I'm going to bring it. Oh, there you go. Perfect. That's why I didn't do it. So we've got the body. Let's do the feet as well. So I'm going to do the foot with the rectangle tool. Grab just that corner with my black arrow. I don't actually have to go to my black arrow. It's just a good habit to get into. Click on it once, drag it down. What I'm going to do is copy and paste them. So Command C, Command V, two of them. I'm going to try and line them up. Pretty good at lining them up depending on which corner you grab it. So you'll notice that if I grab the center here, oh, it intersects. He's got two little feet. Alright, let's look at a couple of the other drawing tools. And we're going to use just the regular old straight line. Okay, the line segment tool. That's a fancy word. Straight line. And all you do is click, hold, and drag. And drag. There's the two little, I'm not even sure what they are, little feathers out the back of his head, but what I'd like to do as well is change the width of this. Okay, I'm going to match maybe this. So I'm going to put it was 4 point I'm going to use for that. And we change the capping. Okay, so what I want to do is do both at the same time. So what I'm going to do is go to edit, undo, so it was kind of back to the same shape it was. So like we did with the corner options, we can select more than one at a time. That's the same key. So I have my black arrow, I have the first one selected, then I hold down shift and click in the middle of the second one. So I have both of them selected at the same time. Now over here in strokes, I'm going to say I'd like you to be 4 points, and under stroke, I'd like to change from that one to that one. Alright, let's look at the last kind of new thing I want to show you. We'll draw that. We'll draw the rectangles and stuff for the water and the wings, but this one here, why didn't you get a sheriff badge is only purely so I could show you how to draw a star and a polygon. Okay, you know how to draw a polygon probably. Okay, click, hold the rectangle tool. We saw it before, polygon. And it remembers the last setting. So the last time we used it, we said be 3 sides. So it's kind of defaulting to that now. So what we're going to do is remember just click once out here, put it back to what it was, which was 5 sides. Click OK, and we get our pentagon. I want to lock in pentagon. Okay, and I magically got my right size. If you don't remember, grab the edges here, hold down Shift, drag those edges, lock the height and width. Just kind of move it in by grabbing the edges. The wrong fill and the wrong stroke. If it's selected, you can go and change the fill to none and the stroke to share. Let's do our star. So the star is an actual star tool. You can hold down this little kind of shape group, grab the star tool, and if you click, hold, and drag out, you'll get just a regular star. To adjust the star, I'm going to undo it, click once, and you can decide on how many points it has and how pointy they are. Just mess around with the different radiuses to experiment with it. It's hard to describe. But mine one's fine the way it was. I'm going to leave everything by itself. I'm going to cancel and just draw a star. Now to lock it into like a perfect kind of horizontal and vertical, hold Shift. Remember that magical tool. When in doubt, probably hold down Shift. Grab the black arrow, click, hold, and drag. Close, Shift, on the corners, drag it out. You're getting good at this, right? Alright, what I'd like to do is make sure that it will try its very best to line these perfectly. Okay, if you're like, I know it's not aligned perfectly, so what you can do is select both of them. Remember our trick? Have the star selected. Which key do you hold down? That's right, Shift key. Click the center of this pentagon. And what you'll see over the side here is that you've got your align option. So I want to make sure they're aligned horizontally center and vertically center. And they're perfect already. I'm going to move mine off. Hold Shift, grab both of them just to show you what it actually does. No, they are perfectly centered, so I'm just going to kind of move mine way off so it makes it a bit more clear what we're doing. So I'm going to make sure it's horizontally centered and vertically centered. Never remember which is which, so I just click both. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it. I've got them both selected. And I'm going to hold down Shift key. I want them to be a lot smaller. So spacebar to move along, grab one of the edges, Shift to get it to kind of a pure badge size. Alright, last couple of things we're going to do is I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can put in, that is meant to be the ground. That's meant to be I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, I'm going to click, hold, and drag, and I'm going to get close to this edge, and it's going to go. It happens all the time where you kind of get close to it, and Illustrator kind of, I don't know, you get lost this way. So I've got this giant rectangle. To get back, okay, you can go to View, just go to the one that says Fit All in Window. I'm going to get you back to home base. Command 0 on your keyboard, okay, on a Mac, or Control 0 on your keyboard is a really common shortcut to do the same thing. Otherwise, just go to View, go to the one that says Upward Window. Okay, we'll get back to here, delete with my keyboard.